Okay, fasten your seatbelts because what I'm about to reveal will completely stun you. Imagine that while you are engaged in a game of chess, your opponent has been removing pieces from the board in full view. What if I told you that Kirk Frost, the reality TV tycoon and seemingly eternal husband, has been concealing, right in front of Rasheeda, not one, not two, but 3 hidden bank accounts filled with actual currency? And you know who just came up and smashed every cent with a legal wrecking ball? Yes, Rasheeda's attorney, the drama queen of the courtroom, revealed something shocking. The entire judicial system gasped at it. But hold on, is money the only factor at play here? Or is it an all-out struggle for dominance, retaliation, and power? What is the true extent of Kirk's covert empire? What does this signify for their tumultuous media-grabbing divorce? This isn't your typical reality TV scandal, so stay tuned. That is a real-time, high-stakes financial thriller. Additionally, the receipts will astound you. There are scandals. On reality TV, you know, afterward, there's this gadal, the kind of scandal that not only spills tea but also sets off the smoke alarm, burns the drapes, and topples the entire boiling kettle. Kirk is the protagonist of our story. I'm innocent, I promise. Frost. For those who are happily unbeknownst to him, Kirk has long been a walking headline maker. The man's history is essentially a highlight reel of poor choices, ranging from inadvertently fathering a child outside of marriage on Love and Hip Hop to inexplicably forgetting how many zeros are in his bank account. And now, honey, the season finale of his financial soap drama has arrived. Let's go back. Rasheeda and Kirk were more than a romantic couple. Behind that shiny VH1 filter, there are cracks, and not the little things. They were a brand, a couple that peddled dream music, business, love, reality, TV, and romance. Repairable type. I'm referring to Grand Canyonizers, which are characterized by hushed gossip, ominous phone conversations, and dubious business trips that, for some reason, never concluded with any business completed. The trust began to erode along with the marriage. Always the boss lady. Rasheeda, she didn't close her eyes. Because if there's one thing we've learned from reality TV, it's that the cameras stop rolling. The shadiness, however, never does. It gets really good here, as reported by unnamed insiders. My completely trustworthy Rasheeda's legal team discovered 3, count them, 3, secret bank accounts. Secret may be an understatement in this case. According to a source who claims to have seen the receipts while repairing a printer in Kirk's office, not all of these fell under the mattress savings accounts category. We are discussing complete high balance currency vaults with transaction histories that resemble a montage of opulent purchasing. 250 was wired to a consultancy firm that, oddly enough, has an address next to a boutique selling expensive trainers. 12 in office costs that oddly correspond with a week-long holiday at a 5-star resort in Bali. And my personal favorite was $4,800 for equipment rental. But after doing extensive research, I discovered that it was actually for a private yacht party with a DJ, champagne fountains, an inflatable flamingo the size of a studio apartment, and Rasheeda's attorney Kesha McKnight. Let me tell you, though, that Kesha does not appear to lose courtrooms. Instead, sources claim she entered like a marvel. Freeze it. All of it now. And here's the crazy part. The supervillain in heels dumped the evidence folder on the judge's desk. The judge took immediate action. All 3 accounts were more securely locked than the Met Gala's VIP area. Kirk was unable to spend any money, and just when you thought it couldn't be much more juicy, a 4th account is revealed, supposedly opened by Kirk's relative, because including your family in your offshore financial acrobatics is the epitome of innocence. In the meantime, Kirk's Instagram page appears to be a self-help seminar while all of this legal mess is developing. Posts with motivational captions beneath beach photographs. #new beginnings, and themes of recovery, development, and letting go of negativity. Your bank accounts have been frozen, sir. Even giving up a latte is impossible without asking. First, your attorney. This type of split reality makes you question if Kirk is being dishonest or whether he is simply not very good at reading people. You see, Kirk has been accused of this before. We'll refer to this as innovative money management. Recall the 2019 Studio Fund incident, in which Kirk posted pictures from a boys' trip to Dubai after Rasheeda allegedly lost $60,000 while saving for a new album. Or the mystery of the merchandise warehouse, where boxers of unique merchandise are kept were allegedly misplaced before shipping, although they were eventually sold from a Miami pop-up store. We've been here before, yes, but now the public is watching like it's the Super Bowl of nasty divorces. The stakes are bigger, and the receipts are thicker. I succeeded and talked to a supposed friend of a friend, who has been closely involved in the situation, of course, over a fictitious encrypted messaging service. They supposedly told me this. For months, Kirk has been transferring money. He first claimed that it was for urgent business matters. Investments came next. The next thing we know, he's discussing creating a home studio on a yacht and purchasing luxury baggage in bulk. Rasheeda was bound to learn about it eventually. If it isn't the most villainous thing you've seen on reality TV, I'm not sure what I've heard. Then, like a narrative twist no one anticipated, Carly Red enters the courtroom, since it is obvious that this scandal required additional fuel. She has her own collection of proof, including screenshots, receipts, and purported images that seem to show Kirk giving actual wads of cash to someone extremely heartily, his wife. The drama is at an all-time high. Let's just say that the judge made the same expression you do when you discover that your Uber driver is taking the leisurely route and that your tab has double dotted. At this stage, the divorce process is beginning to seem less akin to a hostile business acquisition than a formal separation. Social media is consuming it like free samples, while assets are frozen. Evidence is accumulating, and unexpected witnesses appear. The hashtags are trending at Costco. Rashed a revenge. Hash bank account gate. Hash freeze out like frost. As if they were suddenly Wall Street insiders, every chaotic meme account, every Twitter thread, and every gossip site are sharing their insight. We will now close out this chapter. Kirk's possessions are frozen. The court is looking, and Rasheeda's legal team is burning, like a drama set during the day. Oh my summer child, you believe this is the extent of it. What follows brings in even more characters, more money, and more salacious rumors than this courtroom has ever seen. And this is just the opening act. The subsequent twist is a doozy. Like the stench of burnt popcorn, the buzz from the courtroom persisted. It's unavoidable, strong, and a little bitter. Like a man practicing for an Oscar in the category of innocent until proven Instagram official. Kirk sat there, looking stony-faced. Rasheeda, however, was wearing that serene yet lethal expression that only a lady who has been secretly collecting receipts for years can offer. However, this is when the transition from juicy reality TV to a conspiracy documentary on Netflix occurred. Due to the fact that the judge's gavel was still not cold, those stories Rasheeda's lawyer's office received an enigmatic envelope. I promise you, this is the kind of story twist you can't make up. There was a big package of documents and a handwritten letter that said, "Follow the trail. It's deeper than you think." There was no return address or sender's name. However, since that's what's fun, we are definitely making things up. Photocopies of bank statements from foreign accounts were included in the bundle. We're discussing Luxembourg, the Cayman Islands, and, strangely enough, a bank in a small Icelandic fishing community that, based on a Google search, has 412 residents. And one strangely sizable financial institution. Transfers of hundreds of thousands of dollars are astounding. Memorandum lines, such as consultation fee and event supplies, seem innocuous until you see that the dates coincide with fancy automobile purchases, penthouse rentals, and more. Yes, a 3-day private event that reportedly included the DJ of Drake's cousin. And here's the thing, an apparent alias was used to approve some of the transactions. Hey Franklin, I don't know about you, but we've officially entered the realm of Bond villains when you start inventing new aliases to transfer your funds. As a contract territory for reality TV. The disclosures didn't end there. Of course, emails from unknown senders began to arrive. Every gossip blog claims to have inside information. According to one dramatic email, Kirk had been using a high-end pet grooming business to launder money, a company that doesn't really exist. Another said he once hired a private chef to make a single dinner of lobster tacos, coated with gold on a Miami rooftop for $10,000 in cash. And if you thought the internet would handle this quietly, you're mistaken. Twitter turned into a veritable crime lab. Zooming was what people were doing into Kirk's Instagram posts, running timelines as if they were trying out for CSI Atlanta, matching shirt patterns to vacation pictures, and smashing champagne bottles in the background. This is how one viral thread looked. Take a look at this March post. Zoomin claims that Kirk is at a business convention, but that's not a credential for a conference. A backstage pass, that is, and you know what? A $14,500 withdrawal from one of his concealed accounts occurs that same weekend. Is it a coincidence? Not in my opinion. Additionally, Rasheeda's legal team was allegedly conducting a comprehensive forensic assessment at the same time that all of this online armchair detective work was taking place. Imagine a group of financial investigators going over every dollar Kirk has handled over the past 10 years, if you have no idea what that is. Every account, every loan to a buddy, every transactional of it is scrutinized. The public wasn't the only one who was listening though. There are rumors that state tax authorities are interested. Because when someone begins using dubious methods to transfer this much money, it's not merely the people who create laws are the ones who are looking for answers, not your ex. A tax investigator on a mission is more terrifying than any reality TV reunion, as anyone who has actually seen one knows. This is the portion that truly left me speechless. Street rumors, and by street, Kirk didn't simply hide money. According to an unidentified source who is most definitely not a barman in Buckhead, allegedly, he utilized a portion of it to finance a side venture under a false identity and that someone else, a former background dancer, who happened to have been seen in a Rasheeda music video with Kirk, at several meals for networking within the previous 12 months. Is it a coincidence? Yes. I am also England's queen. When an enigmatic audio message surfaced online, the controversy escalated. It has a suspicious-sounding man who sounds like naturally. Kirk's staff disputed it. Kirk is heard stating, "Just move it to the other account. She won't know. By the time she figures it out, it'll be in my cousin's name." Referred to it as a E-generated defamation, which may be credible if Carly read that there wasn't a laugh in the background of the audio either. Come on. I mean, the public's desire for this calamity was now unquenchable. Blogs released fresh, exclusive content every morning. Creators of TikTok were acting out scenarios from the courtroom. Instagram was inundated with memes that compared Kirk to cartoon monsters. He was photoshopped like Scrooge McDuck swimming in a gold coin vault in one meme. However, it was piles of cash marked hidden account 3 rather than coins. Rasheeda unleashed a bomb of her own just when it seemed like the circus could not get louder. She appeared to be clutching a folder labeled receipts while seated in what looked to be her boutique office when she went live on Instagram. She simply smiled and stared into the camera without saying anything. Stated, "It's not about revenge. It's about justice. You will lose if you try to play games with someone else's life's work." The collective intellect of the internet vanished. Hashtag Justice for Rasheed became popular within minutes, with supporters vowing to shun any company associated with Kirk. Celebrities even voiced their opinions. Here's the most outrageous twist of this tale, though, as one rapper tweeted, "Never hide money from a boss chick, she will find it." Kirk, Allegedly, attempted to strike a covert agreement with Rasheeda to keep some of the accounts off the record just as public pressure was at its highest. According to an insider, he offered her a six-figure lump sum payment in exchange for renouncing some of her claims. And you know what? He was reportedly laughed out of the room by Rasheeda's camp. That may seem like the end of Kirk's terrible week, but we're just getting started since the released documents suggested links that go far beyond personal drama. My friends, we're discussing potential shell corporations, untraceable wire transactions, and wait for a Tay name that is closely associated with a well-known club owner in Atlanta who has a history of scandal. You see, the entire jumper unravels when you begin tugging on a stray thread like this. And this story's next chapter isn't only about no more Kirk versus Rasheeda. Oh no, we're entering a realm where people you thought were supporting characters suddenly take center stage. Business partners become liabilities, and pals become witnesses. And the part about taking front stage, every imperfection, every falsehood and dubious dollar you believed was hidden is exposed for everyone to see. This implies that you will want popcorn for this when we pick up next. I promise. The conversation among Kirk's inner group is about to begin. Additionally, some of them have secret stories. Pocket change is how bank accounts appear. As soon as the first witness list was leaked, the whisper began. Oh my goodness, the names on that list were as messy as chef's kisses. We're discussing former coworkers, business associates, and that one cousin that everyone in Atlanta believes is just a DJ, but miraculously never works a day in his life and drives a Bentley. A former assistant was the first person to figuratively take the stand. For the time being, in a completely unrelated Instagram tirade, she said she was sick of defending those who believe that hiding money is a personal characteristic. Although she didn't mention names, she might as well have tagged him. Overnight, her fan base doubled. Is it a coincidence? Not in this life. The shocking interview followed. A dubious YouTube news station got down with an ex-business associate and remarked nonchalantly, in between gulps of iced coffee, that Kirk had once boasted about having enough cash stashed up to go to Bali tomorrow and never return. Is it possible that this man was merely seeking attention? Yes. However, in the realm of popular opinion, which, let's say sincerity, is the true focus of this trial, it would have been like throwing a grenade into the center of the room. The inquiry into those dubious accounts, however, was growing more quickly than a rapper's after-party tab. Forensic accountants weren't merely making more cash, they were identifying trends, same wire transfer notes, same banks, same pattern of large deposits, tiny withdrawals, rinse, repeat. It was similar to watching a YouTube lesson on money laundering, except this was the purported real-life version. Kirk reportedly believed that the heat would subside when the federal agents began sniffing around. I'm not claiming that a federal investigation is underway, but an anonymous source who used to sell Kirk trainers claims that discussions have been held regarding particular people with dubious financial histories. Additionally, you won't be able to sleep at night if the alphabet agencies begin meeting about you if you know anything about them. The journalists caught a whiff of blood. Outside of his well-known hangouts, TM-style blogs were emerging. Following a supposedly private supper, he was rushed into his car by paparazzi, or at least two men with iPhones, who yelled in less than an hour. The video appeared on TikTok, accompanied by subtitles such as "When you're running from your accountant." Rasheeda, on the other hand, was playing the long game. Questions like, where's the Iceland money? And did you buy Drake's cousin a boat? Let the headlines, the rumors, and the leaks do the heavy lifting. No sloppy outbursts, no angry interviews. You could almost hear the internet exploding as she shared a mysterious Instagram story featuring a chessboard with the remark, "Checkmate is coming." Then the final twist appeared. At this point, Kirk's life is essentially a tap with no plumber in sight, according to yet another enigmatic leak. One of his secret accounts wasn't even for him. According to evidence, it was allegedly being used to hide money for another person, and that someone else, a well-connected club owner in Atlanta who has a history of dubious financial dealings. If you believe the rumors on the street. Now for the conspiracy ideas. Was Kirk merely an intermediary in a larger scheme? Was this simply about preventing someone higher up the food chain from receiving money? Or was he simply overestimating his ability to balance both subterranean business and personal drama? The public enjoyed guessing, but they were unaware. Threads on Reddit became viral, loaded with grainy images, arrows, and flowcharts that link local leaders and reality stars alike. According to one thread, Kirk and a boutique investment firm that mysteriously owns beachfront property in Belize had a covert partnership. Has any of this been verified? Obviously not. However, since when has being a prerequisite for internet detectives ever been confirmed? Another blow fell, as if the situation wasn't already out of control. In a tax lien, a high-end SUV that was registered to one of Kirk's sham businesses was seized. Additionally, images of the car being towed with Kirk's customized license plates became viral for days. My particular favorite is when your public bills cannot be paid with your secret funds. According to reports, Kirk's circle was flipping, behind the scenes, quicker than Waffle House pancakes. Suddenly, coworkers who had not spoken for years were recalling past discussions. Backup copies of contracts, invoices, and payment logs were being produced by former employees. "Thank you for doing our work," the prosecutors were saying as they sat back. For us, let's be honest now, money is never the only factor in scandals. Like this one, it has to do with power. And exposure is the one thing that power detests the most. Realizing that Kirk's network of accounts could include other huge names, the strain escalated to a point where a credit card could ease it. All of these people were publicly denying any involvement. But in secret, you can bet they were hiring lawyers who charge more per hour than most individuals make in a week, making calls and erasing texts. The most absurd aspect, despite all, Kirk continued to appear in public despite this pressure, just enough to make it seem like he wasn't concealing. He was seen laughing with buddies at a lounge one evening, as if nothing were wrong. That same lounge became popular 2 hours later because someone shared a grainy video of him outside taking a very serious phone call, plotting the next transfer, and the breaking point court filings public record are depicted in the caption. Baby disclosed that in addition to Kirk's bank information, Rasheeda's team had formally subpoenaed his correspondence with 3 known colleagues within the previous 5 years. This includes DMS as well as emails and messages. Let's all pause to consider the utter horror that must be experienced by someone who has made dubious choices all of their life. The internet proclaimed it to be the last season as word of the subpoena spread. Set to edit on TikTok, millions of views were garnered by the dramatic music, the hashtag #UMBLOCK. The accounts trended for 48 hours in a row, and memes depicted Kirk's phone melting in his grasp. What does that leave us with, then? With a man whose whole public image is collapsing due to leaking papers, dubious relationships, and an impending televised court battle, in which a woman is gradually and quietly destroying every defense he believed he had, and with a city, possibly even a nation, glued to every update as if it were the most anticipated reality show in years. For it's clear that whether you love them or loathe them, just cannot turn away. The drama has evolved beyond mere rumors. It's about treachery, trust, and the messy aftermath of bringing your shadowy enterprise into the open. The worst part is still to come. This isn't even the biggest secret yet. If the rumors are accurate, concealed within such accounts, however, that is a tale for a different video. My friends, there you have it. The sort of scandal that would be impossible to fake, no matter how hard you tried. We're discussing subpoena types, murky transfers, covert bank accounts, and whisper campaigns. Can cause mature guys to perspire when wearing a